everybody, Texas Trucker here, Lance from shop LoneStarMopars.com. Sunday fun day, a very nice 64 degrees here, 5:30 p.m. Continuing on from last night, trying to catch up with some KC Tool stuff, get the shop cleaned up a little bit in anticipation of some big changes. And what we've got, we're going to jump into the Dark Gray Friday. Of course, KC Tool has a big Black Friday sale for Black Friday into Cyber Monday type of a time frame. But their logic, which started a year or two ago, was, hey, why wait? Let's have a Dark Gray Friday, culminating in Black Friday. And essentially, you've got the month of November broken down into your 4 weeks or so. And you got Dark Gray Friday 1, 2, 3, and 4. And what they do, you don't get like massive one generic discount off of everything. You kind of get, hey, here's 4 or 5 tools. Maybe you need something, and they're going to be at basically tool of the day plus discounts, right? So the bottom line, if it's something you need, it's a really good deal. The crapshoot is, do you need it? Do you already have the tool? Which oftentimes, it's sort of like a painful experience. You're like, oh, that's a great buy, but it's like, I already have it. And for me, a lot of the times, I'm like, that is a steal. I love that thing. I'm going to grab one and have it at work. So I can kind of swing it that way. But the bottom line, fantastic deals going down. So what I've got, let me throw this down. All right, bear with me here. All right, everything's falling over in that direction. Anytime you place an order at KC Tool, even if it is Dark Gray Friday, you get a bit of thanks. At this time, they had switched over to that red band right there, which is at Hazet. Is it Vera? It is a Vera number 2. Take it easy, tool finder. We also had this. That's the seasonal at the time, holiday 2024. Some pretty cool deals there. And then we have the mystery sticker. This usually has a label that says mystery sticker. I assume they must have done quite a few transactions and run out. What did we get? Beautiful NWS. Very cool. I promise here shortly we'll archive these and see what we've got in terms of completing the set, which we very well could have done. Who knows? But our first item here, this was just insanity to me. Number one, I think the box stock price is really good. Just straight off the street, if you see this, you're like, yep, I'm buying that. $65.15. Dark Gray Friday, they marked these down to $39.99. And you're thinking like it's an empty box, bonehead. And yes, it is. This is Gedore's S8 303. It's going to be a TC. If you know anything about Gedore, you're thinking like, that's the plain plier handle, not the fancy black and blue one. Yep. You've heard me say, like, I really do like that. Them and Viha, I actually do like their textured grip, especially when it's Gedore blue. But $39.99 was the Dark Gray Friday price, and you're like, okay, well, you got scammed, bro. No, these I put into use immediately. Essentially what I did, I bought 3 sets of these things. They all kind of came in varying states of, like, shipment damage, like fairly heavy item versus not heavy cardboard, But these will be vehicle pliers. Like, I wanted to go this route. If you recall, if you're an OG on the channel, I attempted to do this years ago, like very early in KC Tool. And what happened to me was I ordered the stuff in. I was kind of like going to demo out one set, and I started getting the red handles. And I know it's confusing to people. There's Gedore Red, which is like their import. Let's try to stay competitive with El Cheapo stuff. But with Gedore in the American marketplace, particularly the US, there is another company that has a light blue texture, and sort of like out of respect to them, it was like, no, we can't do that. And what they did, they went to like this funky maroon. I've got some pairs, it's sort of like a reddish maroon. I've had variations in the color, but I hate it. And it's not textured, it's just like a smooth dipped. It's almost like these protos here. Obviously not red orange, but just take the orange away from this and make it more maroon. It's like this no texture. I despise that stuff. I've used it my whole life, particularly with Channel Lock, but Channel Lock's about the only brand that I can tolerate that anymore. Some are super comfortable, some of them are terrible. And I do not like the Gedore color, because this is the other option with a Gedore, or you go JC, which is super OP, and I love the black and the blue, and they're comfortable. But at that price point, this was a stupid good deal. And basically what we've got is, again, you're going to see the 8303 after the S there. I'll try to make it focus, just in case you don't believe me. And I'm not sure they provide no real information. They do call this eco packaging. That's basically decomposing on its way to you, the end user. But it's what's on the inside that counts. And we basically run down with this 14210. These are essentially Gedore's Cobras. They're push button action, very large. The teeth are nice. And again, at the price points, you don't have to be too particular with them, right? Right here, I kind of like that the side cutters are a smaller pair. This is going to be their 8316-160. It does have the power force there. So really, really nice side cutters. And again, I like that it's a smaller size, not like you're like, oh, I wish it was 10-inch. Well, yeah, that'd be great for leverage, but in a vehicle, God, that's hideous. I did not realize there were barcodes on these. Okay, so this one got it. Well, it has one here, which is preferred. Put it on the inside. This right here, please don't do that to your tools. Companies just don't, especially if they're going in a set. It's hideous. This is just your standard combination plier out of the deal. Very well rounded, dirt cheap. You can basically think of each one of these at the Dark Gray Friday price of $13.33, $13.33, and $13.33. Now, walk around your local Walmart, Lowe's, or Home Depot. You might see some pliers around that price point, or they might even cost a little bit more. This is German pliers from Gedore, and that's a great deal. So, like I said, not one, not two, but 3 sets. I have no qualms there. Again, I might tweak my initial plans and like change the vehicle setups, but for all intents and purposes, this is great. At this point, you know, if I lose them on the side of the road, which I shouldn't, because it's a bright blue, it's the bright chrome finish. If I do lose them, I can replace them. I can replace them with something cheap, something of equal value. You know, that's kind of where it's at. On the road, you're faced with that. Do you want super good quality stuff like you have at home, or do you just want like the bare minimum that hopefully doesn't suck, that'll get the job done if you actually do need to use them, because you fear what? Number one, you losing them, or number two, they're stolen, right? So this was a killer deal, especially in that setup. I'm curious as to how many of you, this would also be a deal. You might hear Knipex all the time. Jump on that bandwagon, get the Cobras, get the Pliers wrench, maybe try some side cutters. A lot of you go NWS just because the grips are so different. The prices are so much more reasonable than Knipex. Gedore's kind of the dark horse, right? They're not that expensive in most cases, but who uses them? I don't ever hear much about them, you know. This could have been a great gateway for some of you that have like explored the brands, you know, somewhat, but you're like, yeah, I've never had Gedore pliers. I wonder if those are any good. If that's you and you pulled the trigger on this, what are your thoughts? How do you think it compares? Gedore is sort of like the perennial dark horse, in my opinion. You never see anyone, sometimes. I spend a lot of time in this stuff, so I guess I would have a different scope of experience. Every once in a while, you do see somebody that's like, yeah, Gedore for me. But for the average person, and with the average social media consumption, whether that's Instagram or YouTube or whatever, it's people pushing Knipex or, you know, like I said, kind of NWS, kind of in the plier realm, does really well just because the grips are so different. They stand out. People that get them generally tend to be very, very happy with them. And these are just sort of lost in the dust. Stavilla, I would say, lost even more in Hazet in terms of pliers, just down the wayside, right? And Gedore is kind of that way with everything. Pliers, screwdrivers, ratchets, sockets. Wrenches. It's like in wrenches you have Stavilla, and then it's like, oh, Hazet and maybe Gedore. In screwdrivers, it's like, oh yeah, you know, list off all these companies, and it's like, oh, I guess Gedore is okay. Same thing with sockets, you know, it's like, oh, Stavilla, oh, you know, I like Vera stuff made in Taiwan, but look at the prices, and then someone else like, no, Hazet. And then, you know, it's like, well, you know, Gedore is pretty good. And they're just always kind of in that underdog or forgotten position, at least here in the North American marketplace. And subsequently, they don't have the following, they don't have the pull. You can still get some pretty good deals. And like I said, you've seen what I've brought in over the years, so no-brainer on this front for me. Now, where do we want to go? There was another, this box is way over here. There was another Dark Gray Friday deal during week 2 that I cashed in on. Didn't need this because I have multiples of them, but I love them. And I cashed in because it was a great buy at $17.99. What is that, you ask? It is Hazet's part number 2304SH1. And you're thinking like, SH1, is that smart holder? Yeah. You've seen me, like I said, probably buy this, what, 3-4 times? And I won't lie, part of that is I like kind of picked this up for work and for my nephew, and you know, it's one of those things. I find something I'm happy with and I roll with it. Recently, building some office furniture at work, this is what I packed into the relatively new to me Mac ratcheting driver, and aside from tearing up a couple of the Chinesium screws, these were great. And again, if you look over here at a Verabit, right, with the red band, Take It Easy tool finder, Hazet, relatively new edition, I can come in here and I see 3 red strips. Well, I know to grab this one in part because I use it all the time, but it follows kind of the same color code. Phillips is red, that's a number 2. You can get these in various configurations. You know, if you don't use Phillips, you use square, posy, or something. For me, this one is pretty safe bet. So at $18 essentially, that was just a no-brainer. Pick it up, sit on it, save it. If I lose some, if I damage the bits, I've got replacements. Fantastic deal. Now, playing off those bits, we have another item from Hazet. I told you, I warned you, we had some stuff coming in sequence, and it was important that you understand what we're doing. This little guy was $28.22. It was one of those things that was finally in stock. So I'm like, it's time to pull the trigger. And the part number is 811. You're thinking, that's the new screwdriver style. And you'd be 100% correct there. It is BML. You're thinking like BML. That would be like what? Bit, magnet, locker, bit, magnet, long. What could it be? Well, no label here to share with you, but I'll show you this. You're thinking like, where's the logo? Fear not, 180 degrees, it is present. Same design. This one might be a little bit smaller, and that's a good thing because I'm able to spin it much quicker, but you're seeing the shaft. It's hexagonal, and you're thinking, well, okay, there's no like hidden ratchet there. You see it? Right here. We're going to go once again. Where did that go? Right here. To our hex key, thin, small hex key, and guess what? It's magnetic. This is essentially just a bit holder, and it is going to be magnetic. Some of you are going to prefer this, some of you will hate it. We'll come back in to whatever comes out. We'll go for the number 3 just to be different. I'll shut up. That's surprisingly decent fitment. This is nothing at all close to their locking mechanisms. But in terms of the side-to-side play, I've seen a lot worse in a magnetic bit holder. So the sad thing is, you would think that this sort of plain Jane, just a hexagonal shaft and a bit and, you know, kind of a little bulkier here, you would think this would not cost $28.22 when you know that the bit handles with the super cool, super updated sort of Hazet rapid adapter, you know, easy in, easy out bit change, can be had for less. Like currently that thing is 50% off and it's $18.99. This is not. And I'd have a hard time, like, because you can usually get that thing on sale, not always 50%, but it's usually a very good price. And granted, aside from having the longer shaft, like, it's a steal. It's one of the best pure bit holders you can get, especially for the money. Ease of purchase through KC Tool. It seems like this would be like a $19.99 cut down to like 12 to 15-ish, right? And then maybe like, yeah, you know, I might kind of want that longer length sometime without having to get like really long bits or something. This could be handy. It is what it is. Is there this handle, this length with the rapid adapter here? I have yet to see it. I don't have a brand new Hazet catalog. I do peruse their website from time to time. I've certainly not seen it added to KC Tool. It would make a ton of sense, actually, to have this exact size handle, this exact length of a shaft, and then just change this magnetic collar for their quick release. If that happens, you know what we're going to do. We're going to bring it in. But as is, unless you genuinely prefer this or can catch it on sale, I think I'd advise to go with the shorter handle and the release. Now, again, the length could be a big deal. Proceed accordingly, but it just kind of seems overpriced when the other kind of more advanced bit holders and bit lockers are more economically priced. So, with that said, we're going to jump into our final 3 items from this haul. They're sort of a hodgepodge, but I told you we had to build it up, and we introduced what we were doing last time. If I come down here, I think they're all here. We've got the 3 items, and these would have been in stock, sizes I wanted to have, stuff I will use. We have Hazet 880. Anyone remember what that is? Hopefully you do. 14, 17, 19, all 3 different part numbers, and they're all 3 right here. So, what is 880? That's 3/8 point. You know, 14, 17, 19 at this point. At the time, in stock, easy to ship. Probably got me, I guess the Pliers got me over the 100 anyway, but I was watching this stuff. That was finally in stock. These were in stock. Made sense to do it. 14 mil, 1335. You sitting down? 19 millimeter, 1632. We'll call it $3 higher, but the 17 mil, 1176. Basically, $1.50, almost $2 cheaper than the smaller 14 millimeter. Why? I'd assume it's the German efficiency, right? 10, 13, 17, 19, they probably make and sell way more of those. So that's what we'll run with. Right here, if you need a refresher, over the years, as we brought in our sockets to kind of demo and test, I got to where I liked the Hazet half-inch drive more and more. It has 2 sets of banding right here. Then I got that really good tool of the day deal on the quarter drive smart socket set, and I was having to use those like hand only, right? Really tight confines. I didn't have room for a drive tool, and or it was just convenient to kind of spin something in from this side, you know, thing. I got to where I was like, man, you know, this is like placed really well. You know, there's some sockets that have nothing, you know, and then like Proto and Koken don't feature that. Then there's sockets that have it back here, and you know, that's kind of nice, but like this is way more natural. It's like significantly more comfortable. If you were here, I'd throw this down and I'd throw a Gedore and a Stavilla and a Proto and a cut, and you'd be like, yeah, you know, I see what you mean. So I decided, based on, again, with what we've done with our sockets in German land, kind of building them out. We had Gedore 12-point half-inch SAE. We had Stavilla 12-point half-inch drive metric. We sort of like been filling in gaps here, and I was thinking, you know, the Hazet HP ratchets, absolutely love them. They're the strongest in the world. Kind of makes sense to put some 6-point sockets with them. And again, part of my ideal strategy is crippled because of the fact of what German tool companies do with SAE, or better yet, what they don't do with SAE sizes, with wrenches, sockets, you name it. It's very strange, and I would love answers. If I ever get to go to like some tool show, like I've got questions and I'm going to ask them. But this is what I decided to do, and we're slowly, again, going to build out sets. Some of you are like, idiot, you should have bought a 13 or a 10. And it's like, well, that's what we did last time. And again, the way I operate at KC Tool If stuff I'm getting is in stock, that means it's shipping. If I come in here and I tack on a 16 and an 18 and a 22, and they're not in stock, the whole order's held up, right? So when there's stuff that I either, now if I'm getting something and I'm like, I don't really care, I don't have to have that immediately, you know, it's just something I'm interested in, I'm fine waiting, I'll throw the stuff on. But in cases like this, I'm like, you know what, no, okay, these are what was in stock, I'm gonna make it happen. So that's what we did. And that, believe it or not, wraps up our Dark Gray Friday. Again, Dark Gray Friday number 1, there wasn't anything I needed. And I can tell you right now, Dark Gray Friday number 3, sadly, nothing I needed. However, Dark Gray Friday number 4, that was a good one. So that's probably what we'll cover next. And what I want to know from you, again, I am very intrigued if any of you picked up this Gedore set, and especially if that was your first jump into the Gedore pliers. If it is, you've had them now, you know, since November. I say that now in February, and you know, you probably see this video way later. You've had some time to use those, whether you're like, yeah, you know, they were so cheap, I'm just going to throw them in the truck and you use them a lot, or, you know, it's like, yeah, that's a good backup set, or I'm going to take those to work and bring my snap on. Whatever your logic was, if you're using them, what do you think? Similarly, any Hazet socket users, what are your thoughts? Do you like them? You hate them? How do you rank them versus other German brands and other, you know, Quinn, Pittsburgh, Snap-on, Mac, whatever you want to compare them to. Similarly, little Hazet 811 BML, what are your thoughts on it? Would you like to see it with a quick release? Would you like to see a more compact iteration that's not complete stubbified with it? Let me know what you think there. And with that said, relatively quick video here. Going to try to continue the streak of getting stuff cranked out. And like I said, we'll jump in. I don't know if Dark Gray Friday will be 1 or 2 videos. And then I can tell you, as another spoiler, what happens after Dark Gray Friday 4? Black Friday. Oh yes, universal discounts. You can't stop me by listing tools I already have or don't need. I get to make the shot calls there. And boy, we cashed in on it this time, because again, I had some like grand schemes of things to do. So hope you look forward to that. Again, I've still got the advent calendars. I should probably cover those as well. But yeah, with that said, let me know your thoughts on all this. If you have not subscribed, I encourage you to do so. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all 3 at Lone Star Mopars. I don't really post to Facebook anymore. It doesn't seem like many people use it. If you do, if you're that random person, or maybe there's more of you than I realize, tell me. I'll come in and post the stuff. But otherwise, if you subscribe, if you ring the bell, and you jump your Charger across the creek with your dirt cheap Dark Gray Friday number 2 set of Gedore pliers, YouTube just might notify you. We got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. Whether YouTube sends notifications or you're subscribed or not, the videos will be there. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Most importantly, I hope you have yourself a fantastic weekend, and that I'll catch you back for more from the shop.